Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games and part 2 of this How to Play Horus Heresy series. I'm Lee, and in this video I'll be taking you through the turn sequence and the reactions. In part 1 we covered the introduction, general principles and had a look at the data sheets, but now it's time to look at the turn summary and reactions. Let's start with the turn, and in Horus Heresy, one player will take their turn to move and fight with all their forces. Then their opponent will move and fight in their own turn. This process is then repeated with the first player moving and fighting again, and so on until the game is done. During their own turn, the player is referred to as the active player, and their opponent, whose turn it isn't, is known as the reactive player. There are three main phases of an active player's turn. These are movement, shooting, and assault. During the movement phase, the active player moves any of their units that are capable of doing so. In the shooting phase, the active player may now make shooting attacks with any of their units that are capable of doing so. In the assault phase, units may move into combat against enemy units in the charge sub-phase and then trade blows with them in the fight sub-phase. I'll be going through each of these phases in great detail in the next 3 videos, but when the active player works through each of the 3 main phases in sequence, the reactive player does not just sit idle. During each phase, the reactive player may make a number of reactions, responses to the active player's actions that give that player a chance to counter their strategies. We'll have a closer look at reactions later on in this video. Once an active player has worked their way through the movement, shooting and assault phases, it's time to make the end of the active player's turn and resolve any rule described as happening at the end of your turn. Once that turn is fully resolved, the players switch roles. The active player now becomes the reactive player and vice versa. This cycle continues until the game ends. Now it's time to look at reactions, and this is a great part of the game. Each phase will give you a limited number of reactions to use, so it's really important to learn these and understand the best time to use them during the battle. Let's look at reaction allotments, and the reactive player, unless a special rule or other effect specifies otherwise, may make one reaction in each phase of their opponent's turn. While the basic reaction allotment provides the reactive player with a single reaction to use in each phase, it is unlikely that most players will be limited like this. A number of special rules provide additional reactions to the reactive player in specific phases. This means that players may be able to make 1, 2 or 3 reactions in any single phase, but they may never make more than 3. You can find the core reactions that are available to all the armies in the game on page 160 of the core rulebook. Certain armies may also gain access to additional reactions due to faction rules or special rules, and you'll find these in the various army books available for Horus Heresy. That's now covered the turn sequence and reactions, so come and join me for part 3 of this series where we'll look at the movement phase. If you're finding this video series helpful and you'd like to support the channel, then there's loads of ways you can do that. You can join my Patreon, buy a copy of my book Weekend Warriors, or leave a super thanks down below. If you're interested in picking up a copy of the Age of Darkness box set for yourself, or any of the additional sets or rulebooks, then I'll put some links in the description, and there you can save up to 20% on the retail price, and you also help support the channel too, as I get a small commission from every sale made. I'd like to say a huge thank you to this month's sponsors and supporters who've made this series possible by sponsoring the channel or sending products for me to use. I'd also like to say thank you to my Patreon supporters for your ongoing support throughout the year. It's just amazing. Thanks so much for watching. If you did like it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.